Setting up your Usenet client is pretty simple. All you really have to do is enter your credentials for your Usenet provider. In a simple Usenet client like Unison, we just go into Preferences. As you can see, I already have a server set up. I'm just going to hit Edit Servers to take a look at it. I have news hosting set up. I just put in a description. Here's the server address that I got from the provider. The port is the default port for SSL, which is 563. And last but not least, we have my username and my password. And once you have all that information in there, you're all set. You'll be able to access news groups. Beyond your regular Usenet client, you're probably looking to set up SAB NZBD+. So here's how you do it. First, you go to the web interface, and there you have a choice of languages. We're going to go with English and start the wizard. You can choose any of the available themes. I like the classic one. Okay, now we're getting into some actual settings. Now you have to decide first if you want SAB to be viewable on any PC on your network or just from your PC only. I want it to be available to everything so I can make it available remotely, and so I'm going to choose that option. I want to set a username and password here because I'm making it available outside of my own machine. This will keep people from accessing SAB NZBD Plus without my permission. Next, we have server details. You need to enter your Usenet provider's server address and other information here. I'm going to do that for mine. This is my provider's address. And the port, because I'm using SSL, is going to be 563. Now my provider provides other ports as well, but as you can see, 563 is the default, and that one's available, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to enter my username here, my password here, and for connections, here I'm going to decide how many of the available connections I have. Provided through news hosting, I have 30 connections, but really my internet connection maxes out at about 8 in terms of the speed I can get while concurrently downloading files, so I'm going to go with 8. And yes, I am using SSL, as we can see here, so I'm going to choose to turn that on. Now let's give it a test. And it's successful. Moving on. In step 4, you're going to be asked to set up connections with newsbin.com and nzbmatrix.com. These are two sites that will help you get NZB files, which are the pointers that download content from Usenet. Either of these sites are fine. If you have access to Newsbin, which you do if you do, if not, you don't, you can go ahead and enter your username and password here. If you have access to NZB Matrix and have paid for an API key, which is about $7, you can enter your username and your API key here. But we haven't really gone over that yet, so just hold tight for now and feel free to skip it. Now that we're done, SAB is going to restart, and once it's done restarting, it will actually load. This is what SAB looks like when it's not doing anything. Now, there are some other options that you can configure. As you notice, we skipped over index sites. If you need to go in and configure this again, you can go into config and to index sites, and you can find all that information here. Here's the setup for Newsbin, and here's the setup for NZB Matrix. Now you have a couple of other things you might want to look at. For example, if you need your API key, if you're setting up the iPhone app, MyNZB, or anything else that uses SAB NZBD+, you can get your API key here. You also have some other options for a cleanup list. I like to clean up quite a few files, so I'm going to add them in. The ones that I'm adding are NFO, SRR, NZB, because some NZBs download the NZB along with it again, and .sfv. And I'm going to save those changes. Folders let you set where you want your downloads to go. If you don't set the full absolute path, you'll see it's going to put it in your user folder. Right now this is the default for the incomplete, which is where it downloads things temporarily, or down here you can see the download complete folder. Now traditionally, as you can see here, they're kept in the same place, but in some cases you might want to have them in different places. That's totally fine to do. The files that you're going to be looking for are going to end up here though, so make sure you put these somewhere where you want them accessible. You can set these to whatever you want. I have them set on a separate hard drive in my case, but we're going to leave them set just like this for now. You'll also notice that there are a lot of other options, one of which we should take a look at is the watched folder. The watched folder is pretty self-explanatory. As you can see, it scans for files that are NZB files or contain NZB files. So it'll look for zip, rar, tarda, gzip, and NZB. And if you want to specify where that watch folder is, anytime any of those files are added to it, it will try to find the content and add it to SAB. And then SAB will go ahead and start downloading. So that's one quick way to add content easily. Switches, you'll want to go through this on your own and just see if there's anything here you want to turn on or off, but most of these are personal preferences. Servers, these are your server settings you already filled in. Scheduling is scheduling. RSS lets you add RSS feeds to automatically pull content. Email will send you an email if things happen. Index sites, again, we already took a look at that. Categories lets you add extra categories if you want to, but as you can see, there are many already specified. These correspond to categories in Newsbin. Those categories are also, for the most part, the same in NZB Matrix, but those categories don't necessarily transfer over. Lastly, we have sorting, which is pretty cool. As you can see here, you have a place to enter a sort string. This is for TV. We'll use that as an example. And I'm going to say I want to put the episode folder. So look what that did. That gave me a whole string. This string translates into this. So it'll go into show name, then a folder for the episode, then the show name, the season episode code, and the name of the episode. This is a little too complex for me. I would rather just have it all go into one spot, so we'll get rid of those folders for one thing. Got the show name, okay, that's fine. I don't need all of this as it is, but I would like it to give me the episode. So that's episode 5, but I would like it to specify which season it is. So that would be this little guy here. So you can see it's episode 105 is in season 1, 5. And then we can get rid of this because we don't need that anymore. And now I have exactly what I want. The show name, the episode with season number preceding the episode number, and the episode name. So as you can see, you can get pretty specific into how you want things sorted and labeled, which is a really neat feature. And you can do these sorts of things with movies and date sorting as well. And that's basically how you set up SAB NZBD+.